The Fallout New Vegas mod, Fallout the Frontier, has had quite a busy week, and it's something that I'd like to report on, especially since I'm kind of getting thrown into it as we speak. My history with the mod starts 6 or 7 months ago when I was approached to do some voice lines for a role involving Thomas from the Legion. I thought it was Tomas, but in-game they call him Thomas. It doesn't matter what his name is. I was selected to do these lines, and for the most part, I didn't handle it correctly, and that's something that I admit pretty frequently. Not only was my voice work not up to par for what the team was looking for, but it also, it just was flat and monotone, and it didn't really work. Also, on top of that, I didn't really handle the situation in the best of my abilities, I think, when it comes to them looking for somebody else. But there is some misconceptions that I want to clear up, because some things have been said during some streams recently that I just want to, for the VA story, clear up exactly what happened there. During a recent interview, TG Spy, the project lead for Fallout Frontier, claimed that I never sent in any voice lines, and that I just blew them off, and I didn't take direction. But this is how it went down. I sent 2 full runs of my voice lines. Retakes were requested, and the final retake that was requested, I got very sick. I thought I had COVID. I still contest that I think I had COVID, but without a test to prove it, I'm not going to claim for certain that I had it. Both me and my wife were very sick, and we had all the symptoms of COVID. So I assumed, like any reasonable person would, that that is what I had. Multiple people have confirmation of this when it happened. I also have posts that I made public around the time that I confided in the voice director that I was recovering from such a thing. During that time period, they decided to recast me. I was a bit taken back by them choosing to do that when I was sick, especially since the mod wouldn't release for another 6 or 7 months. But at the same time, that's their choice, and my voice acting wasn't up to par anyway. The guy that got to do the lines for he sounds like Shredder when he's doing the lines, and it sounds way more Legion than anything I could have done. So I understand that decision, and it's something that totally makes sense to me, and not something that I'm upset about. And especially at this point, but probably a little bit before we got to what we're going to be talking about mainly today, I would have pulled my voice lines far before we got to this point, just due to the stuff that I didn't know that was in this mod. When it comes to the Fallout lore, this mod was marked as lore friendly, and it is not. There's hardly anything about it that's lore friendly. It has a nice Fallout skin over the top of a whole lot of things going on. So I likely would have pulled my lines because of that. If it wasn't for that, it would have been for the increasingly weird and out of place, like, sexual fetish inputs that they put in there, which we will probably touch on later on in the video here. But yeah, so me not being in the mod from the beginning was not the reason that I, quote, disliked this mod, and we're going to be talking a bit more about that as we go. I found out about the Trachili, a group of, like, snake lizard people that live in the sewers of Portland in this mod, through being a person inside the cast. And though it was public information, though, I didn't have, this is another misconception that's being thrown out there by the dev team, I never leaked anything. I never had access to anything that the public didn't have access to. I wasn't like some dev on the team. I wasn't somebody that worked on the mod, so therefore I wasn't privy to anything that they were keeping behind the scenes. On their very public casting call, they had a casting call for people to do this, like, lizard voice, and they described the character, and I called attention to that. I said, oh, you say it's lore friendly, and here we go. And I was constantly met with, bro, what about intelligent Deathclaws from Fallout 2? Bro, what about the slanter that we're going to be in Fallout 1? And so we can address those real quick, just because those are a lot of arguments that I get all the time. The first one, the slanter from Fallout 1, was removed by the devs, Tim Kaine, I think, specifically, because it didn't fit in with the Fallout lore. He said it just didn't fit in with the world, and it felt weird, and it didn't fit the vibe. Secondly, the talking Deathclaws are not the same thing as finding a group of, purchasable assets down in the sewers. You know, you get these Bollusk assets from the the store out there, the asset store that people use when they're doing that, which is a common practice. I'm not trying to throw shade for people using assets that are commonly available or buying stuff to put in their game, whatever, man. But I mean, there was a lot of stolen assets as well that got removed with hot fixes and things like that. That's something that TG Spy went into as well, like a Doom 3 pentagram that got removed and some Fallout 3 assets as well. But that's not the issue. But you go down and I made this lizard thing public because I thought this is fucking the intelligent death claws. The intelligent death claws are not the same as that lizard race. The intelligent death claws were an enclave experiment. They learned how to talk using like the same things that parrots do. So they mimic speech, but they were intelligent enough to put that mimic speech into coherent sentences. There's all these, and a lot of people say, well, doesn't that mean they talk, bro? Yes, it does mean that they talk, but there's an incredible reason for it. Not just we're a group of lizards that know how to talk and we have sex with humans down in the sewers. This was, the Enclave sent these intelligent death claws there to be like, hey, any humans that come here, fuck them up. We don't want anybody. The Enclave's idea was if people come to look for Vault 13 and they see a group of death claws, they're not going to come back. And the Enclave was trying to really preserve what was going on in Vault 13. But then the death claws kind of established their own way of doing things, which is why we see Frank Horrigan wreck them in the game, because they weren't following what they were supposed to be doing. They instead were making friends with humans, learning more complex speech, things like that, due to mimicking like parrots do. Anyway, it's not the same thing. And it just felt weird in a Fallout game. And even the devs said it was weird and that it was wacky and fun, but it's just like, I don't know, it was a weird hill to die on. And that was my problem from the beginning. I was like, hey, there's this big problem. This is a red flag for lore. You guys are saying it's lore friendly. And I would not hear the end of it for a while, simply because I had this problem with what I thought was a red flag in the quote tagged lore friendly situation. I was subject to multiple raids on my Discord server, spam hate on Twitter, spam hate on YouTube, any social media that you can think. If I so much as mentioned the mod, I had people gunning for my throat, and a lot of the times I would recognize the names as Fallout Frontier devs. It would start with one of them, and then the same faces would show up. It was always the same people. Now, granted, when something like that happens on Discord, people usually get banned, so it wasn't necessarily the same people every time on Discord, and those started to peter out. But when it came to Twitter and YouTube and other avenues of social media, it was always the same people. And unless those people have deleted their stuff, you can still find those tweets today. Now, 6 or 7 months ago, when I made that first video talking about the lizards and the lore problems I saw, the red flags I was seeing with the lore, and those things started to happen with the harassment and the Discord raids, I had posted on their Discord, one of the only times I had ever posted on their Discord, that I was going to be making a video about the things I was experiencing. And of course, it turned into a shit show where I engaged with people who apparently now had a problem with me, and that was it. I didn't post on their Discord again, and I moved on. I remained in the Discord so I could continue covering the mod. But when we fast forward to release, we go 6 or 7 months to release. Keep in mind, at least 5 months goes by where I'm not active on this Discord. At the very least, it could have been 6, maybe even 7, but at least 5 months goes by where I'm not even active on this Discord. I get banned on their Discord server. I notice that I'm kicked out and I can't rejoin the day before release. I think it was the day before release. And I don't know why that happened, because I wasn't active on their Discord. It was literally someone would have had to find my account and ban me before the mod dropped. And I don't know why. I literally to this day don't know why. And I'm guessing it's because I had these problems with the lore. And so they've looked at me as this detractor who's leading an army to bring their mod down. But that was never I was just literally saying, hey, I'm seeing red flags. And this dev team had an absolute shitfest about it. They could not take the criticism. They could not take one guy saying that he didn't like the stuff, saying that I was trying to incite a mob to fucking get their goat and fuck over their mod. I'm like, nah, man, I'm just saying that I don't like this stuff. So now we're right at the cusp of release. So the mod drops and I check it out just like everybody else that checked it out. And one thing that I noticed, that it was a technical marvel. They pushed the engine to places that I never thought I'd see the New Vegas engine go, but there was something off about it. And it's not just something that I noticed, the red flags were coming true. It was if you started the game and you were doing the NCR route, it was some kind of Call of Duty clone with different bits of movie tropes added in. It felt like they literally tried to put everything they could think of Michael Bay style into this mod and just give it a Fallout skin. That's the vibe that I got from it. Now, does that mean that there wasn't really incredible things done on the modding side, on the technical side of this? Absolutely not, man. There was tons of really cool shit that they did with the mod, but it was pushed back and veiled with this poor writing, fetish writing that's put in there, like this foot fetish stuff with America, the slave girl, that they had to put a note up to say that she was 18 because they were worried that people were going to worry about the over sexualization of this clearly young like girl that's being turned into like a weird sex slave. It's just there was a lot of blowback from that. A lot of people started to see the red flags. It wasn't just me, and that's something that I warned the dev team of long before we got to this point. 6 or 7 months ago, I said to them when they were raiding my Discord servers and attacking my Twitter, I said, are you going to go to every YouTuber's Discord? Are you going to go to every Twitter feed of anybody who has something negative to say about this mod and attack them the way you're attacking me? Because it's not going to look good. But it seems like that's exactly what they did, and they kind of bit off more than they could chew. This leads us to where we are now. Now, from what I understand after going through and actually reading the stuff that's going on, unlike what the devs are doing, and I will let you know what I mean by that as we move on, I went through and saw what was going on. It seems as if the mod has been hidden and that one of the developers has been ousted for drawing some kind of animated, not safe for work stuff with minors and My Little Pony and all this other kind of stuff. Not something that I looked at, like I went and tried to see for myself or anything like that, but it seems this was confirmed by the dev team, and that person was then removed from the team. But one of the problems I saw is they immediately put this person on blast, kicked them out, kind of made a scene about all of it, conveniently when the mod was getting a lot of blowback for its other stuff. Keep in mind that this person did not have anything to do with the suspect things that were in the mod. The person that got kicked out for their apparent pedophilic drawings was the person who did like the Pip-Boy artwork and things like the little icons on the Pip-Boy, I think some weapon designs as well. But when it comes to like the lizard sex, the Deathclaw sex scene, the constant like juvenile writing when it comes to, literally there's a line in this game where you can say, I want to have sex with you, will you have sex with me? Like it just like this really like juvenile approach at sexual encounters. Every building you go into, there's a sexual encounter. You have America, the teen slave girl that has stinky feet and she really wants you to know about it. It's just a lot of that stuff that had nothing to do with this guy. They were getting blowback from that, and then all of a sudden, oh hey, we poked the bear of 4chan, and 4chan found this out and kind of forced our hand. And that's what I've read on the V board, because that's apparently where a lot of this feedback, this criticism was coming from. So I went and did my research, and from what I read, it turns out that a lot of the Frontier team, or at least fans of the mod, were consistently spamming the Frontier stuff in the V board. A lot of the people said they didn't like it, they didn't want anything to do with it. And then some enticing started happening from the Frontier side, poking the bear, as it will, telling 4chan, oh yeah, I dare you, do this, do that, do that. And they did. They found out some stuff about this dude, made it known, and then they consistently asked the questions they've been wanting to ask the lead dev during an interview that he did that we're going to get into now. Seemingly rolling just out of bed, TG Spy would jump into an interview with Tyler McVicker. This interview was apparently scheduled before this controversy started going on, before the 4chan thing started happening. Now keep in mind, this is something that I told them was going to happen. If you consistently attack everybody who has a negative feedback of your mod, people are going to throw that shit back in your face. Regardless if there was anything this egregious in it, people would have thrown this back in their face, like, what the fuck, you can't take any of this criticism, we just don't like your mod. And then they spurg out about it. So that happened on 4chan, and some people on 4chan didn't take lightly to it from what I've read. Now, that of course, that doesn't mean everybody on 4chan did something, or anything fucking crazy happened, but they took to the stream here on Tyler McVicker's YouTube channel. This was the first time I'd ever heard of Tyler. They had this interview apparently planned before this controversy, and TG Spy seemingly had just rolled out of bed and was dealing with this controversy in real time. This is where I kind of fault Tyler McVicker, in my opinion. I would have canceled the interview. This guy clearly just woke up, clearly is kind of figuring out what's going on. Most of his team is literally abandoning ship. His mod is hidden and has been taken down and all this other shit. And you know, parade him in front of people who are just looking for blood for the most part, and pretty much let him sit there and get abused for 2.5 hours or however long that stream went. It was about that much. I came into the stream because it was relevant to the things that I talk about. I sent in a super chat confirming one of the questions because during I think the video is private now, maybe somebody backed it up, but during the stream, dude was talking about, hey, you know, like, what's this thing with America? What's the deal with the sexual fetish? And TG Spy iterated that, well, they put up a note saying that she's just turned 18 years old and all this other stuff. And my question was, why would you even need to put up a note if it wasn't, because his argument was that nothing was sexualized about her. It wasn't like that. But I was like, why'd you need to put up the note if you weren't worried about that? And that started this like just spew of disinformation about me on the stream. I wasn't allowed to come on to defend myself. Tyler McVicker even tried to get me on twice, but TG Spy said no. He didn't want me on there to talk because I would just use the platform to further detract and try to make an agenda, but that's really not the case. I was trying to defend what was being said about me. Tyler also wouldn't speak to me unless I was donating to him. I think I donated almost $50 in total just to get my word out there, because the emails that I was sending to him, he wouldn't reply to and he wouldn't read on stream, even though he was reading his entire inbox. So the whole thing left a bad taste in my mouth, especially when there's somebody who's claiming that I lead an army of detractors that want to bring down their mod. They said that I didn't finish my voice lines. They said that I'm leading a raid on their Discord in real time. As we're on the stream, homeboy literally says, oh, hey, by the way, Mantis is leading a raid on your Discord, or on my Discord or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm literally just watching the stream like everybody else. But during that time, something that TG Spy may not have known because he doesn't do his research, is over 100 people joined my Discord as well during that stream, during those times. So I think both of our Discords were being flooded because it was current news and people were interested in what the hell was going on. The fact that Tyler McVicker didn't let me on to defend myself is actually really, really insulting. And it's super critical to the argument at hand when somebody who he was consistently asking for the voice of hey, I want to hear from the community about this. What do you guys think? I was willing to be the voice of the community. I've oftentimes stepped up and taken heat for doing that. I have no problem taking heat from a mass group of people to speak what I think is true, to especially defend myself when my name is being literally dragged through the dirt. I'm getting called a troll. I'm getting all these other things. I'm leading raids on Discords. They're trying to get my Discord taken down, all this other shit. Like, that's not funny. And that's something that I should be allowed to defend myself. If this guy's saying it, I should at least be able to jump in and be like, hey, none of that is true, and I'm right here, instead of having to pay the dude to be able to say that. So that happens. I was learning the news as it was unfolding. At the same time everybody else was learning stuff, I was learning stuff too, because I had just woken up from a nap. I saw that stream was live. I saw everybody talking. I was like, what's going on? Jumped into the stream and started listening, man. So I had nothing to do with leading any kind of raids on anything. I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in sending mobs of people over to make your point. I can make my point just fine by myself. So where we're at right now, the mod has been hidden so that they can remove a lot of people have jumped ship. A lot of people are like, see you later. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And some of those people have requested that their work be removed from the mod altogether. Now, how many people is that? I'm not quite sure. It depends on how big this shit show gets and when these people figure out about it and when whatever decision they want to make. When it comes to the mod being hidden, I believe it's being hidden to make, quote, the final build, because TG Spy even said he's done with it. It seems that almost every dev is done working with this. There's not going to be any more updates after this final one. I'm sure they're still trying to get it on Steam, but this actually goes to something that I stand by, and something that I wanted to say directly to the dev team that may be watching this, and that's taking responsibility for your own actions helps out situations a lot. I've been constantly blamed for your follies. I've been constantly blamed as being some kind of detractor or some kind of negative force that's trying to bring down your mod because I have nothing better to do, apparently, than take down a Fallout New Vegas mod. When in fact, most of your dev team for this mod says that you don't even play New Vegas. Some of them say they don't even like New Vegas. Some of them seem very confused on what the setting of Fallout even is. And as somebody who really fucking cares about the setting of Fallout, somebody who really fucking cares about the lore of Fallout, and somebody who was looking forward to having a giant lore-friendly mod that they could be proud of and that they could jump in and play and cover on the YouTube channel and enjoy with the whole rest of the fan base. I'm disappointed. And it's not that I'm disappointed with the work in the mod, because there's some things I don't like, but it's your mod. You can do with it what you want. But I'm definitely disappointed with the way you think criticism works. I have never in my life talked to a group of people who could not take criticism more than you. And I have been consistently leveled and harassed by not only your fans, but your dev teams, simply because I don't like decisions that you made in your mod. I noticed that when Mitten Squad said that it's the stupidest fucking thing he's ever seen, is anybody harassing him? Probably not, because you'd get totally fucking roasted by his giant fucking fan base. But because I have a smaller base than what your mod probably appeals to, you think it's okay to come in and harass me all the time. But I don't care. Harass me all you want, bully me all you want when it comes to this. I said from the beginning that this mod was a red flag fest, filled with lore inconsistencies and something that, in general, people were going to be very disappointed in. And I'm not trying to sit on a high horse and say, I fucking told you so, but I fucking told you so. That's what happens when you can't accept criticism and you take no responsibility for your actions at all. It doesn't even matter if the mod was absolute dog shit. If you would have been like, hey, I understand that and I can learn from this experience, and I can be like, oh hey, I need to do this better, or maybe I can change this if I want it to be better, and or if I want more people to like it. Instead, you attack everybody who had a problem with it. It's not the way shit works, and like I said at the beginning, it was going to be a shit show, and look at where we're at. I also would like to say that I don't think every developer should be at fault for the actions of one. There's a lot of people that put a lot of hard work into this mod, and they weren't fucking creepers, they weren't fucking weirdos, they didn't act like children, they just did work on a mod. And those people, I really hope, do continue to do mod work, and this hasn't soiled it for them completely. But to the rest of you that thought harassing somebody just because they didn't like your mod was like the hip thing to do, and oh yeah, fuck Mantis because he just doesn't like Frontier. Well, here we are. And it's not, and like I said, it's not an I told you so moment, but I don't hold any fucking pride. I don't revel in the fact that this mod is taken down and shit's being scrubbed out of it. I wanted it to be good. I wanted to have a good mod just like the rest of you did. But when you get so consistently harassed for months and months and months of people saying, fuck you, it's going to be the best mod of all time, you're just a hater, fuck you Mantis, you're a troll. Well, you know, it doesn't feel bad to be on the side that said, hey, look at all these red flags. So this has been my final rant video on this scenario. I was planning on making a giant video essay covering a fair review of this mod, covering every inch, every nook and cranny of the mod. That's on hiatus for now. It might not even be in production ever again, simply because I don't want to give any more attention to a mod that has all this going on with it. But then also, I've been treated so poorly by the people associated with. It's not a pity party for me, but would you want to play a mod where the people who've made it just constantly shit on you when you're actually trying to legitimately just talk about what is in the mod? I don't know. So put yourself in that position. Thank you for watching. It has been Mantis.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon'